half days and worked and lived in the houses and homes of white families to aid in that thing that's called the assimilation process. She was trained to clean the house and sew.
So they get used to living with the white people and know how they live, and they tell us how to do the kind of work that they were doing, such as cleaning the house and being homemakers. And then besides, they used to pay us a little money each week. And our money used to be sent back to the school, and then during the winter time, we used to draw that money when they needed it.
My grandmother went on to say that we'd get up at 4 in the morning and we'd clean the house. And then we'd go to school at 9. And then we'd come home at 4 o'clock and work more until everyone went to bed. These schools also extensively used something that was called the outing program. And what that was is they retained students in the summer and involuntarily leased the students out to work in the homes of white people as menial laborers. That was their outing program. 5.
Some people were good to us, and some weren't so nice. Some would treat us like members of the family, and others treated us like servants. The people who treated us that way would make us do our work, and then we'd have to go to our rooms. We couldn't play with their children or go to parties.
You always run across people who make you understand that you're just an Indian. She left Carlisle Indian School and returned to the reservation in 1915. She worked as a matron sewing clothes for the white earth schools. She was married to my grandfather, William Robinson, in 1917. And she recalled coming back to Netawash, everything was different. Because everything was gone. The family farm was gone. And most Indians at that time had sold their land. This was after the Clapp Amendment, which set off a buying spree as farmers from the Red River Valley, the banks, and the lumbering assets moved into the reservation to buy. Maybe swindle is a better word. The allotments that were assigned to the white earth people. Historians say that the land was sold even if the Indian people were full blood, which was against the law. You could not sell your land if you were full blood. But, it's always a but, but if you were considering selling your land because you were poor and had no resources, you were desperate, if you were considering selling your land, then only white people know business. So you could not be full blood. You had to have some white blood in you to have business sense. That's how they worked it. That was one way of how they worked it.
On the mother's side, I think grandma was full blood, and so was my mother. She she was considered a quota, but you know, after this reservation opened for the Indians are allowed to sell their land, or every Indian had a little white blood in them time so they could sell their land.
Every Indian had a little white blood, so they could sell their land. The reality was that people were poor and desperate. They couldn't speak English. And oftentimes, they were desperate. They did not realize that they were surrendering their land titles. And all it took was a thumbprint. That's all it took. And their land was gone. 6.
My stepfather mortgaged my land. He did it for $250 to buy a team of horses. A horse and buggy were the only thing you could travel around in at that time. The land sharks around here got land any way they could from the old people. My mother told me how she put down her thumbprint on a piece of paper. She couldn't write. She couldn't speak English. My mother lost her land that way. She didn't know she was losing her allotment.
Why did they want the land on the reservation? Why move people there and then take that too? It was rich agricultural land and timber. The timber, they wanted that as well. My grandmother said some people didn't know what they were putting their thumbprint down for. Some thought they were just renting their land. A lot of people lost their land also at the time through taxes.
I had a friend, she told me how they paid for her allotment. They gave her a lot of $1 bills and put it in her apron. She thought it was a lot of money, but all it was $100 for 160 acres. The white man takes away everything from the Indians.
You'll always run across people who make you understand that you're just an Indian. One of my favorite quotes from my grandmother was, she said, we've never been treated right, so we take things as they come. There was nothing we could do about it, I guess. Well, she said, we still have our Indian summer once in a while. They can't take that away from us. My grandmother, despite all of this, and I'm only telling you a fraction of the story. Today we're hearing about the abuse, the sexual abuse, all these things that women at that time would never speak of, yet you know that was there. My grandmother never spoke of those things, those traumatic things. Resilience. What I want you to remember tonight is, please remember some of this history, but also remember my grandmother for her resilience.